for sending me the questionable. Throw that person for sending me the questionable tweet into Twitter jail or tweet jail. I don't know who it was, but definitely shooting that person out of a fucking rocket. Please, let's find out who that person was.
Thanks for making my stay here excellent. Cheers.
No reason to, absolutely zero reason to all right, deleting that. Let's do it. I love working for Twitch, a company where something as understandable as something as normal as that image could literally lead you into losing your income and your livelihood. It's very cool and very normal. I love it. Totally good stuff. Normal stuff here. Okay. Here, I'm gonna control F whoever fucking linked that to
Poggies daycare time Poggies.
Here, for whoever didn't refresh or whatever, you can control F it.
Ajan, Persian Empire, Ottoman Empire, Kek.
Obabe addressed the drone program in this interview. Wait, really?
This is a violation of my streamer rights. I am taking you to court, Arjan. Arteta out.
I love getting started. I love getting started on the day with a quick clap. Like, hey, for the record, if you ever link things that might be questionable that have like any sort of nudity, I will ban you permanently.
Love
Sorry,
you, Dad.
Sucks that is like Twitch's rules, but even if it's questionable, you will get clapped up.
8 months, love you. People hey chat. Can you please finish your thoughts? You started like 3 ideas or something just this morning.
Wait, Elliot Page announced that he is transgender?
I am slowly losing my will to live.
Oh, shit. What the fuck? Oh, damn. Okay. That I did not know was happening this morning. Okay. I think I did like the first week I was watching you once and I was like, yeah, that's not funny. Good thing you didn't see it. Yeah. How's your patience day, my dude? Have correlated your general patience with chat idiocy based on your experience on the Demon Souls the night before? Kyle tweeted at you way back then.
Thanks for the news coverage hassle.
Your heavy Irish accent is making me hot. No one. Yeah, that's a miss, dude. That is a miss. That's definitely a miss. Guess what? I'm no longer hungry. Okay? I'm now
like a first of his name, slayer of basketball's betrayer of gaming viewers.
Elliot Page has announced that he is transgender. Hi friends, I want to share with you that I am trans. My pronouns are he, they, and my name is Elliot. I feel lucky to be writing this, to be here, to have arrived at this place in my life. I feel overwhelming gratitude for the incredible people who have supported me along this journey. I can't begin to express how remarkable it feels to finally love who I am enough to pursue my authentic self. I've been endlessly inspired by so many in the trans community. Thank you for your courage, your generosity, and ceaselessly working to make this world a more inclusive and compassionate place. I will offer whatever support I can and continue to strive for a more loving and equal society. I also ask for patience. My joy is real, but it is also fragile. The truth is, despite feeling profoundly happy right now and knowing how much privilege I carry, I'm also scared.
Juicer joined around the time of BLM. Thanks for the 7-month sex QCL.
I'm also scared. I'm scared of the invasiveness, the hate, the jokes, and of violence. To be clear, I am not trying to dampen a moment that is joyous and one that I celebrate, but I want to address the full picture. Hold on. Let me just fucking tweet out that I'm live real quick while we go through this, because it's the time to welcome the Normans, because I literally had to fucking end my stream and restart it before the Normans even come in, so. I am live.
Thanks for everything.
Elliot Page as is that even the right terminology? Do you come out as trans? No, like I don't even know. What do you say? Do you say you came out as trans?
Late
really?
As always, Pogo.
I feel like that doesn't. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm being oversensitive. I think. Like.
Keep being pog as y'all.
It's more of like, cause. It's like I guess that's why they're saying announced, right? Come on, by starting to tell people. Because it's like, no, it's not even, I know that like, it's not transition. I know that. It's considered confirmation. That's why you say gender confirmation surgery. So I guess it's coming out. Yeah. I've heard a lot of trans people use the expression to come out. There's a Trump fraud presser. We're not watching like rando fucking. Some people have a mental, emotional, or physical transition. I mean, doesn't. I'm just trying to. I think I'm being overly cautious. Okay. Anyway, I'm live. Elliot Page announced he's trans. $1 billion stimulus package is being worked on. News is happening all around us. Yalla, let's go. Get in now. Dude, news has been kind of stale. Like, I honestly, I've been getting kind of bored of coverage in this part. Or 1 trillion. Why did I say 1 billion? Jesus Christ. It's like 900 billion, not 1 billion. $1 billion. I didn't write it yet. We're gonna get $1 billion in stimulus. Okay, 1 billion. Every person is gonna get like $10. Not even. It's just fucking $3. Everyone that's eligible. Everyone that's eligible for unemployment, and everyone gets a stick of gum.
2 years.
You just have withdrawal from the election. Anyway, here I'm tweeting it out. Go blast it to your Norman friends. Go spread the truth far and wide, okay? Especially now that it's like, especially now that I've fucked up on my original introduction and I had to fucking start it. Yikes, dude. It sucks. Yeah, I'm spamming. Okay, so let's keep going. I also ask for patience. My joy is real, but it is also fragile. The truth is, already talked about. The statistics are staggering. Discrimination towards trans people is rife, insidious, and cruel, resulting in horrific consequences. In 2020 alone, it has been reported that at least 40 transgender people have been murdered, the majority of which were Black and Latinx trans women. The political leaders who work to criminalize trans healthcare and deny our right to exist, and to all those with a massive platform and continue to spew hostility towards the trans community, you have blood on your hands. It's true, 100% without a doubt. You unleash a fury of vile and demeaning rage that lands on the shoulders of the trans community. A community in which 40% of trans adults report attempting suicide. Enough is enough. You aren't being canceled. You are hurting people. A good line. You aren't being canceled. You are hurting people. I am one of those people, and we won't be silent in the face of attacks.
More time for Hasanabi.
I love that I am trans, and I love that I am queer. And the more I hold myself close and fully embrace who I am, the more I dream, the more my heart grows, and the more I thrive. All trans people who deal with harassment, self-loathing, abuse, and the threat of violence every day, I see you, I love you, and I will do everything I can to change this world for the better. Thank you for reading this. All my love,
Arjan,
Elliot.
8 months. Arjan.
That's nice.
But for real, thanks for the streams and news coverage. 3.
Good for them. Good for him. Is this an error? They put up an actual picture of Ellen Page. Typo? Maybe not a typo. He's Elliot Page. I'm not sure I understand. Please explain. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and assume you're well-intentioned. Lol. His name used to be Ellen Page, but he has come out as a transgender man, so now his name is Elliot Page. They're the same person. Oh, okay. I'm new to this. I didn't understand what was happening. Thank you for explaining. I thought it was some new meme that I missed out on. In that case, I'm going to join everyone else and say that I'm very happy for Elliot Page. Always been a huge fan of his. Whoa. Whoa. Look at that. Look at that, dude. Wow. Wow. Incredible. That's some... You love to see it, dude. Twitter actually being a space for learning? What? What a wild world we live in, dude. That passive aggressive tone, lol. Wait, what's passive aggressive? The person originally thought that this person was being annoying and passive aggressive, and I think responded fine.
I chat my Arjan Hassel.
That's an incredibly reasonable Twitter interaction, folks. This is... Oh, did I sound passive aggressive and sarcastic? Oh, no, my bad. Meanwhile, start cis shaming 4chan op is trending on Twitter.
And you're still my favorite streamer.
Start cis shaming? Bitch, I live a life of shame all day anyway. You can't... I'm already fucking ashamed all the time, okay?
I can become more active in the future.
Listen, the one thing I will liken my experience with Demon Souls this morning when I killed Maneater, not in front of the fucking community, but on my own, was literally like sometimes when I'm... Oh, God, this is so inappropriate. I hope the people that were on the phone call that I was on earlier are not watching my stream currently because they are going to... Anyway, fuck it. I'm saying it anyway. I don't give a shit. Okay, so the one thing that I will liken my experience with Demon Souls and beating Maneater off stream to is you know, sometimes when you're edging, which is a way to last longer in bed. Sometimes when you're edging, when you masturbate, and you're watching really good porn, and you're like, fuck it, I can't stop myself, and that's basically what it was like with Demon Souls. And then you have a profound sense of shame right after, because you're like, oh fuck, I had a goal here and I totally fucked it up. That's how I felt when I beat Maneater, because I was like, God damn it, I was supposed to do this on fucking stream and I I didn't do it on stream, and I'm so mad at myself because I was weak. It was a moment of weakness. I saw the boss, and I was like, I gotta kill this thing. I have the opportunity to kill this thing, and he made me so mad. Check the voice recording. Yeah, we'll look at it after. The psychologically documented phenomenon of post-nut clarity. So, Attorney General Barr has arrived at the White House. And this comes.
Sag.
You did betray your game reviews? I did. I literally betrayed my gamer viewers. I love you so much. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm so sorry. I actually felt like I felt so much shame. About a week ago, you said you never felt shame after masturbation. What a fucking liar, dude. I don't feel shame after masturbation. I don't feel shame that I came. You feel shame accompanied with what you were watching, maybe, if you watch some real freak shit. Or you feel shame if you have a specific goal, like when you're edging. That's why I've felt shame. I'm more glad you were so determined you were playing off stream. I always play games off stream. I hate to say this, but
yo, chat on a wall.
But gaming off stream is sometimes more fun because there's no like additional pressure. You're not thinking of it's on my own. It's my fault. It's so much easier offline. First of all, it's so much easier to play video games offline like than online. There's a give and take though. Like it's an incredible experience playing online because you have a built-in walkthrough and it's like Twitch plays basically, right? And that's fucking awesome. That's really awesome. Like playing with the community is fucking dope, but it can turn so quickly, especially if chat doesn't want to like comply, or you know, there's some people in there that are shitters and totally change the dynamic by like trying to trigger me and upset me, and then after that it sucks. Otherwise, it's like the most fun.
The trans journey is so amazing, revealing our authentic selves to the world. We're seeing so much progress in the face of unrelenting hate. Thank you for being a part of the solution, Arjan. Transgender pride has.
Gaming viewers the most oppressive, the most forgiving. Yeah. Oh yeah, Joe Biden is new boot goofing, folks. Hey, don't mind me. I'm just new boot goofing.
Hey bro, I appreciate your content so much. You made this election cycle inside the last 4 years.
Don't mind me, I'm just new boot goofing. What happened to his foot? He's getting his toes sucked. And it broke off, dude. Hate to see it. Fucking kicked Trump's ass, dude. He shoved it in Trump's ass. It's funny. QAnon thinks that it was because you know, he's got an ankle bracelet. He's got an ankle monitor, brother. That's why.
Top of the hour.
No, he just
four-leaf clover.
He just fucking fell and fractured bones in his foot while he was playing with his doggo.
Cheating on us, Pogo.
I'm gonna try to throw him down some stairs. Yo, don't let the K-Hive hear you, brother. UK likely to be the first Western country to license a COVID vaccine.
6 months. Love this chat, love this stream.
Oh,
Trans
true.
Black Lives Matter. Shinzo wo Sasugeyo.
Cheated on us, then got hit with the post-nut blues. Yeah, I did. I really did. Anyway, QAnon said he's really hiding an ankle bracelet because he was arrested. Yeah. There's freaks. Like, the QAnon boys are fucking freaks, dude. They are crazy. Anyway, how gangsta is that our president-elect has a pimp walk?
I have literally never seen the trans community as happy as when
thing. Like, he's an old man.
This means so much to all of us. I've never seen this amount of positive trans coverage. Feels strong, man. Thank you so much, Hassan.
Yeah.
Pogo.
I'm gonna go back to the Elliot Page story in 1 second. I feel like trans rights have gotten to a better point. Not rights. How do I say it? the understanding of the trans experience and the way that we talk about trans people in the media has gotten to a little bit of a better point, I think, as far as acceptance goes, but it's like so marginal. Ultimately, though, of course, the trans rights have been destroyed under fucking the Trump administration. It'll be probably a little bit easier to fix that from the executive authority. And not in the UK, by the way. This is specifically an American-centric conversation, especially because UK probably has gotten worse. It's Turf Island over there, but we say this, but the most famous trans actress literally just got us all recently. It's gone up, but we're really not there.
5.
I feel like, what the fuck do I say when someone uses he, they pronouns? I'm so confused. Don't be confused, brother. You can use he and you can use they. They, them is pretty easy too. Like,
thanks for all the
at first I had a hard time using they, them.
I will vote for Warnock and Ossoff in GA and get us a stimulus check.
Because I was like, yeah, it just means it's interchangeable, by the way. You can just use he. But they, them is pretty easy.
Tell my mom
like at first I had a hard time because I had to fucking unlearn gender pronouns that I had to learn English, because Turkish is not a language that has gender pronouns. So I had to fucking learn gender pronouns and then I had to unlearn them again. And I was like, fuck, what the fuck? Oh, I'm fucking this up. And I still misgender people, not on purpose, but like accidentally misgender people, but mostly because, again, it's something that I had to fucking learn to begin with, right? Some silly shit that I had to learn. But they, them is, once you get used to it, it's pretty easy. Yeah, when someone's bio says he, they, you use either. As far as like Zer and all the other stuff, like, I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works at all. Okay, wrong place. If you're looking for an explanation on like the Zer stuff, like, I'm not your guy. I feel like that's more Tumblr stuff. I am unfamiliar with it. Nobody get mad at me. I just don't know. But yeah, no, they, them is pretty easy. I'm gonna quit saying, bro, it's so fucking confusing learning gender in English and then from Turkish and then unlearning. Yeah. Zan, please read for chatter. As a she, they, please do use they, them with your friend if the gender pronoun they use is the one tied to their cis identity. No one tends to use it, and it makes you feel like you are not MB enough. Just a little help. I mean, I use they, them if someone has they, them. Sometimes people want to be accommodating. So here's the thing. Sometimes people want to be accommodating, and that's why they say like they'll add he or she and as well as they. Ultimately, just ask people what their gender pronouns, what their preferred pronouns are, and they'll tell you, and you know, you can use that. But neo pronouns are important to neurodivergent people and aren't harming anyone. Okay. Anyway, thanks for being honest about your understanding of pronouns. I'm also trying to learn. Don't understand it at all yet. There are 2 vehemently transphobic actors, one of the most watched shows now, The Mandalorian, which is unfortunate. How does an ungendered language work? There's just no gender. You don't like point to someone. If you want to say that woman, like, you literally have to, you don't say she. There is no she. You have to say that woman. Like, you literally point to everything as like that. Feel me? Gina Carano and Cara Dune as anti-trans? Okay. The neoliberals are being annoying once again. Please, what is this?
Ye whore chatters.
Meanwhile, this morning on Turf Island, children under 16 with gender dysphoria are unlikely to be able to give informed consent to undergo treatment with puberty-blocking drugs. 3 high court judges have ruled. So their parents have to make that for them. Their parents have to make that decision for them. Is that what they're saying? Leslie Feinberg is an incredible transgender activist and communist around during the 1980s and 90s who went by Z here pronouns. Incredible person that you should check out. Different pronouns have gone a lot longer than Tumblr. Okay. I get it, but why deny it isn't an illness? Because it's not an illness. Here, this is not as bad as like maybe they're just like maybe they're just a what's it, trust scum or whatever, or a trans medicalist. Someone only give it 2 weeks instead of a full ban, and maybe they can learn from their mistake here. Or maybe they're a piece of shit that did not get to reveal themselves yet, but we'll clap them when they do that. But
hassle.
It's not a mental illness to be trans. It's unfortunately qualified as such currently in some ways where it's considered to be gender dysphoria. But that is not the appropriate designation for it. It's like it's not a mental illness at all. It's just a way of existing. The dysphoria problem. Dysphoria is a problem and the treatment is transitioning. Yeah, but there's non-binary folks as well. I think here's the thing. The problem with gender and the problem with sexuality is that it is closely tied to our identities. Through social conditioning, the way that we understand gender is so deeply ingrained in the way that we see the world, in what our expectations of the world are, what our roles should be. And I feel like that's antiquated, but not everybody feels that way. Or even people who feel like they're progressive don't fully comprehend that our understanding of gender itself, whether it be gender expressions, gender roles, that are totally outdated, or even what people consider to be biological gender, right? Sex. That's even not a binary concept. And there's plenty of scientific evidence to suggest this, to show that it's no longer the binary that people understand it to be or have assumed it to be. Now, of course, whenever there's new information that comes out, or whenever we develop a greater understanding of these sorts of things, then in that circumstance, a lot of people are going to, especially when it's something so closely associated with our identity, people are going to be apprehensive at first. People are going to even have some kind of a backlash towards it, right? That's where a lot of the transphobia stems from. But ultimately, what you should do is be as welcoming to new information as possible if you are progressive. And that's why I am a little bit more, how do you say it? Like, not understanding. It's not, I don't welcome transphobia, but I can comprehend why you would be transphobic. Especially because of how closely associated our gender is and our gendered expectations are with our identity, right? So much so that trans people oftentimes report having internalized transphobia themselves throughout their development, right? And that is because that's due to the factors that I just described already.
What should I name our child?
Can you expand on the point about sex not being binary? I don't fully get what you're saying. So we assume that sex is just male, female, right? But that's not the case. Like, it's just male, female. You have a penis, you're male. You have a vagina, you're female. But that's not the case. And this isn't like some fucking woke, like, gender Marxist shit. It's literally not biology. It's not just your chromosomes either. there are millions of people on the planet that would be considered intersex, for example. There are hundreds of thousands of people on this planet that still have that still even have chromosomal differences than what you would expect from the outdated way of thinking about sex. So even that part of the process that most people still think is binary is technically not binary. And you try to wash that away by saying you try to push that away by saying, oh well, you're wrong. Those people are just anomalies. Like that's just a mutation.
Everyone
Well, it's like okay, but there are more intersex people than there are Jewish people. There are more intersex people on this planet than there are redheads. Like you can't just like fucking categorically write them off out of existence. Like it doesn't work that way. It's possible for women to have XY chromosomes to be biologically or anatomically female. This is taught in basic biology classes. Yeah, that's the weirdest part about it, is that like I think the way that people try to dismiss this is by being like, well, that's an anomaly. That's an anomaly. Shut up. Don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything different. Like, okay, well, if you're Mr. Natural, if you're Mr. This doesn't exist in nature, like it fucking exists in nature. So your argument that it's binary is completely shattered. Okay, so I'm surprised your audience needs this explanation. Do you think you talk about this issue enough? My friend, we have 20,000 people in here right now, and there's like 1 or 2 transphobic comments. What the fuck are you talking about? The progress that this community has made in regards to like the trans experience, in regards to being more open-minded to trans folk, is a fucking insane. Back in the day, when I used to have a regular like 4,000 person audience, and we would like get, I don't know, we would get like strong baby fucking 7,000 people in, and when I was talking about trans issues, like the fucking chat would be a sea of transphobic takes, an absolute sea of transphobic commentary. So I think this community has come like super far. I remember those days. It's crazy. You'd literally do mass bans. Yeah. You banned all of them. It doesn't matter though. Like, think about it. We got 20,000 people in here, and it's not a fucking sea of transphobia. Like, where else on the internet? Go ask trans people. Like, is there another place on the internet that they can go to where there's like 20,000 people gathered somewhere, and there's only like 3 or 4 fucking transphobic takes in the chat? Like, that's not happening. Which I'm very proud. I'm incredibly proud of this community for unlearning some of the maybe outdated things that they thought, some of the hurtful things that they've said in the past, and getting better overall. It's awesome. Listen, the point is this, right? Like, it's basically the exact same concept as homophobia in the 90s, right? Or in the 60s, 70s, 90s, early 2000s. Well, not early 2000s, but like homophobia was totally accepted in mainstream thought. Like, people would just be like, for so many Zoomers, that's impossible to even comprehend. You're like, what? Like, people were just homophobic? 100%. You know how people just, the Ben Shapiro's of the world just fucking talk about like whether trans people are like full human beings or not? What? Vosh community is pretty pro-trans. He gets 10 to 15Ks on average. Oh, good for him. Anyway, Ability is pretty good too. So back in the day, they used to straight the fuck up talk about like gay people as people talk about trans people now. Like, you know, are they sinning? Is it natural? It's so unnatural. Blah blah blah. Like exact same fucking arguments that people apply to trans people now, they used to apply to gay people. And I'm old enough to remember that it changed. Like it changed throughout time. There was a fuckload of activism. There was a fuckload of on the ground pressure. Okay. And ultimately that led to legislative outcomes that were positive for the LGBT plus community. And now it's regarded as something as ridiculous as like being overtly racist, right? Like if someone says the N-word, for example, don't ban Chunk Yogurt. He just said the attack helicopter joke. Do not ban him. He's my pet. We're keeping him as a pet. Mods. Remember, he has a special place here. Oh, identify as an attack helicopter. Oh, look at me. He's back. He's back. Come here. Come here.
I love Hasanabi with the Hasanabi.
Come here, Chunk Yogurt. Get over here. Good boy. Good boy. Good take. That's a funny joke. Good one, dude. Ooh. Good one. Yay. He said attack helicopter. Oh. He thinks it's still 2015. Anyway. So now we know, like, when someone is being homophobic, you're like, being homophobic. Like, you fucking weirdo. So much so that because of its normalization, especially in like cultural hubs and cultural centers, like I'm not talking about how it's like everywhere else.
Pogo, Pogo, Ayan, Pugo.
Especially as it's like become more normal, like you can even make edgy jokes to a certain degree within these in-groups that would not be immediately attacked as like you're a fucking homophobe, that sort of thing, because it's like gay rights, especially for cis people, has gotten to a point where people just recognize homophobia for homophobia. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I always laugh at like people who just like literally personally do not understand like gay Twitter and get fucking upset at like gay people being incredibly homophobic to one another as a meme. And then people saying like, well, that's actually a consequence of like internalized homophobia. It's like, no, they're just fucking, they're joking. Like they're literally joking. It's like have you never seen people joke in their own in-groups? Like it's like a black person telling another black person that they're like shucking and jiving or something. You know what I mean? If they feel as though the other black person is just like being ridiculous or some shit like that. You know what I mean? That's a joke. Like you're not gonna fucking police that, okay? Anyway, but I can say that you single-handedly changed my perspective. All the information surrounding transgender people come from idiots like JBP and such. That being said, what primed me to be slightly open to it was actually schools in Canada have lots of LGBT infographics and help hotlines, etc. on the walls. Thank you, Hasi. The explanation about how it's just recycled bullshit from a homophobic era really helped. Fuck yeah. That's awesome. I didn't say chucking, I said shucking. I call my friends a hard R all the time, just black. Yeah, I mean. How did you know we joked about that? I mean, I have black friends, dude. What the fuck? Like. I'm Muslim. Terrorist jokes are huge. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's another one. That's another big one. So every single attack that you hear about trans people was literally identical to the gay panic and anti-gay rhetoric of a bygone era, right? So that's the point. Like, it's society takes a while to come to terms with things that it declares to be new, even though gender as a social construct is not fucking new at all. It's just completely Western. It's completely Western. It's a relatively new concept too, and it just avoids like every other fucking culture that has historically existed that has not had such rigorous and confined gender expressions and gender identities. A great example of this is indigenous cultures where you know, there are multiple genders.
Thanks for helping me get through this semester, Arjan. It has been crazy. 2 hurricanes hit the school and COVID. So thank you, hassle.
I think part of it is... Wait, you just said it isn't new? No, I'm saying that for us, we might think it's progress because our little baby human brains look at things like our current understanding of gender expression, and we're basically stuck in the average life expectancy. So our frame of reference is super narrow as human beings, okay? So for us, it seems new, but if you go back like fucking 300 years, then all of a sudden you have, you know, two-spirit people in like indigenous societies. So then all of a sudden you literally have expanded on, you've completely expanded on like gender identity and gender understanding from an era that was way before the one that we exist in. Our current understanding, unfortunately, is confined to just a very narrow framework of the average human life expectancy. Not necessarily Western, more so Christian cultures, but I can see how you put that off as Western. Many Western countries have diverse histories of androgenymity. Yeah. Third or non-binary genders have existed in South Asia for ages. Kind of like how I talked about how the Ottoman Empire was gay as fuck, dude. Like, they were just
love everything you do.
They were just clapping cheeks. You know what I mean? It was just gay. There's a lot of gay dudes, you know? It's always existed. Like, you can deny it. The same with trans people. Like, you can deny it. You can be like, no, I don't want to believe it. It's an anomaly. I'm going to look away. It's like, no, it's not happening. But it's like, but it is happening. Like, you fucking making sure that your child doesn't watch the Arthur episode with like a gay couple getting married is not going to magically fucking erase gay people from this planet or erase trans people from this planet. You know what I mean? Like, all you can do is try to oppress these folks as best as you can, when plenty of people literally try to do that. But like, you're not erasing them. Like, they still exist. You know what I mean? So you can look away as best as you want, but you're gonna look like a clown. Like, no, I don't want to believe it. Acceptance has for sure come a long way. Instance, as a skater, we used to call transition skate spots like on a half pipe, the quarter pipe. But really? And also is no longer accepted within mainstream skate terminology. Also, there's a trick that used to be named a sex change. but the same before. It has gone back to regular terminology as a body varial. Huh. Ukrainians are successfully harvesting the American dollar by canceling the country of Russia for beetroot soup enjoyment. What? The U.S. government funded hybrid warfare analytical group now warning that the dastardly Russians are waging covert war by culturally appropriating Lithuanian beetroot soup. Fred, we have prepared the most mouth-watering article for you about culinary deceptions. What? The account is run by the Ukraine Crisis Media Center, which receives funding from the U.S. Embassy as well as quasi-governmental National Endowment for Democracy. The theory was that gay men are gay because one man needed to stay at home and help his mother as the rest of the birds leave their nest. What? No.
We love Elliot Page in this household.
So, in my culture, we have an accepted third gender, Musha, who are largely regarded as sacred for thousands of years, and it wasn't until Spanish conquest that they faced transphobic violence rooted in Catholicism. Yeah. Only heterosexual intercourse creates gay and trans people? Not exactly. Technically, no. But I don't want to break your brain right now. This is what they funded abstract artists because they thought abstract artists showed how individualist America is. So, this stuff fucking annoys me because it's like... So right off of like talking about trans identity and like trans experiences and whatnot, we now go back to like the weaponization of like cultural appropriation. You know what I mean? Or the like the intelligence community and its willingness to like utilize social progress as a fucking cudgel and like try to use that as a way to like attack people that they consider to be their foreign adversaries, or even to deflect away from legitimate criticism by saying, well, our comms team is all female, so fuck you. Or, you know, we're going to have the first non-binary CIA director or some shit. You know what I mean? It's like, well, okay, that's great. But also, the fuck are you doing? Like, the CIA is still doing a lot of harm, right? And so that is always the unique, the narrow balancing act that you have to engage in to recognize that, like, or at least I try to recognize that, like, of course, you want to progress culturally, you want to get people to be more understanding of marginalized identities, marginalized communities. But also simultaneously, don't get fucking duped into believing like this horse shit by liberals who are trying to sell whatever the fuck they're trying to sell in this circumstance. Like, this is so dumb. The 8 dishes culturally appropriated by Russia because food can be an instrument of hybrid warfare as well. Dolma, grape leaf stuffed with rice and meats and primarily known in the Middle East and Central Asia. Chicken Kiev cutlet made from chicken fillet with a pocket. Oh, this shit is so good. Oh my god, this just reminded me. Well, it's not even chicken Kiev that Kiev, is that how you say it? No. Oh fuck. Shishlik, the skewered meat roasted over hot coals and associated with the Caucasian region. Oh my god, this shit's so good. Drakini, Belarusian potato pancakes. The name originates from Drots and to great. Kolodnik, cold beetroot soup, popular in Lithuania, Latvia, Poland, and Belarus. Borscht, not borscht. Hot Ukrainian beetroot soup with 300 variations of the recipe. One that was at of me, 20 top rice in the drum. What the fuck? How come woke people always expect others to know these new formalities and social norms regarding queer and trans communities? They're usually so passive aggressive about it. It feels like there's a lot of new social norms that people are just waiting for others to trip over them so they can call them out. Also, how many new pronoun types do we have to learn now? Is it they, them, he, him, she, her, not enough? Do we learn Z, etc.? Do we all have to participate in everything? So I feel like you're being a little insensitive right now, but because we're this is the welcoming hour or whatever. No, hold on, stop yelling at him. Look. This stems from a place, and this stems from a place of this stems from a place where people again have an immediate fucking reaction, like a negative reaction whenever they are expected to do something that signifies change. Okay, you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And I know that from my own personal experience, right? I definitely was transphobic growing up. I was very scared growing up in Turkey of a lot of the sex workers on the streets that like caused me to develop transphobia, and also because of like all of the trans sex workers that worked on the streets in Turkey, where I was like afraid when I would walk home and shit, whereas like they were the ones who were in horrible circumstances, and they were the ones who were like probably in an effort to defend themselves, like trying to be a more intimidating presence so they don't get fucking killed, you know what I mean? And at the time, like that was definitely like one of the ways where I definitely started developing transphobia. But like also on top of that, like the same concept of like gender being so profoundly important for our development and our understanding of the world led me to never really consider it. I was one of those people that was oh, I don't care, like they can do whatever they want, like just I don't, yeah, sure, I'll like say the right pronouns, but it's just like weird to me. I don't really care. Like that's the type of person I was. And there's a lot of people like that, right? And I didn't really understand it. Like I just didn't understand it at all. And it took some time. And unfortunately, sometimes people are a little bit reactive when they see transphobia, right? When they see someone asking a question that could be transphobic. And I try to balance it as best as I can, because I understand that like shutting the door to people like that can drive them further away. Like obviously ignorance is one, like not a lack of knowledge, but being open-minded is one thing. Being ignorant, on the other hand, and refusing to learn new things is entirely different. And if you're here to just like cause harm to trans people, to just like say a bunch of transphobic shit, then like, yeah, of course you're gonna get clapped. But I don't think people always expect others to know new formalities and social norms. You just have to show them that like, oh no, I'm not trying to be an asshole, I'm really sorry, but I'm just trying to understand it. You got to be polite. And the reason why so many people are aggressive or seemingly aggressive, for example, in regards to like transphobia, is because, think about it this way. Back when I, a cisgender hetero dude, white passing, who is like physically appealing to Western standards of beauty, even when I talk about transphobia, I used to get fucking a shitload of like psychotic death threats, just like crazy shit, both in the chat and also beyond it, right? And I'm not fucking trans. So I can imagine that if you're a trans person and everyone is nonstop fucking talking about whether you're like a fully developed human being or not, whether your existence is called into question nonstop in mainstream media topics by even people that you would love, like a fucking child author that you probably appreciated coming out and being like, yeah, trans people are fucking crazy or whatever, like J.K. Rowling did, then that sucks. Okay? Then that fucking sucks. You constantly feel like everyone is out to kill you, and everyone's out to fucking attack you. And especially because a lot of people are literally straight the fuck up talking about whether or not you have a right to exist in the way that makes you comfortable all the time in mainstream conversations. So of course that's the reason why trans people sometimes come across as like aggressive when they see transphobia. It's because you're constantly on the defensive. You're constantly on the fucking defensive all the time, nonstop. There are so many sources that are passive aggressive. This person is purposely choosing to look at passive aggressive people, whom, by the way, are probably being passive aggressive because there are 20 other people being actually transphobic on Twitter. It's not a weird gaslighting, dude. From the outside, you have to remind yourself, like, for Normans, from the outside, like, they're not aware of what the fuck's going on. Like, they don't know what the latest thing is. It's like this. What's that trans lady's name? Jessica Yanev or whatever, the one that was like a convicted criminal or something. Like when you are from a marginalized background, right? If you're trans or if you're gay has become like gay has reached like mainstream acceptance for the most part. But when you're from a marginalized background, right? If you're trans or if you're black or even if you are Latino, right? The action of an outlier often is used to disparage the entire group that you are supposedly representing in that moment. Like, your worst moment all of a sudden means everyone that is from that background does that all the time, especially if it's also in line with like pre-existing stereotypes that are oftentimes dehumanizing. A black person being violent, for example, or a trans person that might actually be a fucking pedophile that has nothing to do with them being a trans person. You know what I mean? But that's usually how they tie it. That's usually in mainstream media, like the way you tie dehumanizing stereotypes is by saying like trans people are pedophiles, or they're out to get you and they're out to fucking do sexual assault and harassment. It's like, no, they're not. Like, they just want to fucking live. So yeah, Jessica Yanev is known for being a child predator. People took her story and then attributed it to all trans. Exactly. So when you see one trans person being like quick to call you out and say you're transphobic for like you legitimately not understanding it and thinking that this is like basically fucking theoretical physics from your worldview, like you just can't comprehend it. And that pushes you away because then you attribute that experience to like every trans person. So that's why I'm trying to describe why some trans people or even allies can come across as aggressive. You talk so much about rated atheists. It's pretty obvious there's a section of the woke community that are, for lack of a better term, Reddit wokeist. I've always been accepting of other people, but you can't berate someone who mistakes with a pronoun while learning to use it. Acceptance has to come from both sides. I mean, I just described to you where that comes from. Like, I don't know what you're saying here. Like, yeah, I get it.
Hoggies.
Honest opinion on my take that people who are old, millennials and older, are brainwashed to believe that capitalism is good. Yeah, what cautious was bad, but also in America does it, it's okay. And as younger people are becoming more politically active, the first generation of Americans to come out of the Cold War for a long time, and potentially these people will revert back to what people did before World War II in terms of economic theory with sweeping reforms of the New Deal. Okay. Meanwhile, when transgender